Like here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. You can save big when you bundle your auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. Visit Progressive.com. This music ties in so many things going on right now, and you have chills when you hear it. Along with Michelle Smallman, Chris Canty, Evan Cohen with you here. It is Unsportsmanlike. Why is this music important?
I didn't know you were so fired up that the Bulls actually won a game after going winless in February.
You can go off of the 11 theme, right? In the 11 of the Bulls snapping their 11-game losing streak, which I don't think is a good thing for them, the Spurs snapping their 11-game winning streak, so you can go off of that with the Bulls theme, or you go off of 23-11, which is the team that Michael Jordan owns, Tyler Reddick winning 3 in a row. Or, most importantly, you could go with CM Punk's entrance, the Elimination Chamber in Chicago on Saturday night, which you saw on the ESPN app, ESPN Unlimited, where he came out to this song. One of 2 huge Chicago sports fans with a big moment. The other one, of course, Seth freaking Rollins.
Can't trust Seth Rollins.
Always,
you cannot trust Seth Rollins, man. You just can't trust him. If Seth Rollins is on the injury report, treat it like Tom Brady being on the injury report back in the day.
We have a lot to do here. Okay, we're going to get to Small's jury duty. The latest with that, as you heard there. Okay, but you brought up the Seth Rollins thing. Elimination Chamber was great on Saturday night. But I need to clue people in. So the interview we did with Seth Rollins on Friday was complete. Friday? Was that when it was? Yes. When was it? Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Because I was out on jury duty. Okay. So I wasn't here for that, but I went back and watched it.
So Seth is done.
I thought you were protesting Seth.
Oh, Chicago?
Yeah.
Green Bay?
I thought it was just a protest, yeah. Well, you also said he can't be trusted.
And was I right or wrong?
You're not wrong.
But wait, so there was a moment, the interview's done, take people behind the scenes, and I feel like you said to him, what surgery did you have? And he answered immediately. So I think he is injured, but because he did not use his arms or his shoulder when he stomped out Logan Paul the other night.
Well, then you're not injured. You're just hurt.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what to think anymore with this guy.
Here's the thing. If you're hurt, you can play. If you're injured, you can't.
There you go.
So clearly, he wasn't injured.
But he answered the question.
Even if he had the surgery, he clearly wasn't injured. He was just hurt. Because if he was injured, he wouldn't have had his ass out there on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great moment. And I said to my son as I'm watching it, because it was the second masked man that Seth Rollins then reveals the mask. I was like, that's Seth. Now I know. I've been around him so much. We've all been around him. I'm like, that is Seth. All right, we will get back to that in a second. But Smalls, what's the latest with jury duty? You don't understand the process. You were called in twice, Thursday and Friday. Are you a juror? Are you not a juror? What is going on here, Smallsy?
Sadly, I was not selected, gang. I was not selected to be a juror on this case. And my jury duty journey has come to an end. But we made some great memories along the way. I learned a lot. I don't know how much I can share because the case is starting this week. But I guess as long as I don't give specific
don't give
details.
About the case. Give about your experience.
Yeah, okay. I'll say this.
It's amazing. No, you know what? You haven't learned because you were about to give the information.
No. I was just going to say what type of case it was. Can I do that? Okay, no, I can't do that. I'll say this. I went in there, eyes open, ears open, ready to serve. So many people went in there and they were armed with reasons why they should not be jurors.
I was like they're armed going in there?
Like one woman straight up said, do not pick me. I will be a hostile juror.
Okay.
And I respected the play. I was like, okay, you're being very honest. Because they say, be honest about your ability to serve. And she goes, don't pick me. And if you do, I'll be hostile. Another woman was like, I don't believe in the jury system. Don't pick me. I'll be a terrible juror. I'm like, these people are going for it.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm like, I got a trip next week that I can't cancel.
They don't care about that.
Yeah. I was like, it's non-refundable. They're like, and? But I did not get selected. I think maybe what we do for work may have contributed to me not being selected. I don't know. Maybe
Sportsmanlike for the win. Let's go.
Maybe because we talked about it on national radio and TV. They're like, don't think that she'll be a good juror. She's a yapper. So unfortunately was not picked, but made some great friends and had some good experiences along the way.
What did you say made great friends? Define that exactly.
I have connected with 3 or 4 people from my juror pool on social media. I'm going out to get drinks with one of them when I get back from my trip.
What?
I made some friends.
It's so odd to me. You're just hanging out with random jurors. I still don't think you understand the process. In this last 2 minutes, you basically asked whether or not you could squeal on everything in the case, and you made it seem like all the jurors were armed. I don't think that you understand how to go about this.
They were armed with excuses.
Okay.
Nothing else.
All right. Yes, but
sounds like they were ready to go. from my perspective.
They knew what was going down. They were smart.
Yeah.
So that was Friday. Saturday we had Elimination Chamber. It was great. When CM Punk came out to the Alan Parsons Project, right? I think it's what it's called. Serious is what it's. I mean, what a move! What a move! And then Seth coming out there, and now we're gonna set up Cody Rhodes. Oh, Randy Orton wins the Elimination Chamber on the men's side, as we predicted on Friday. Rhea Ripley won on the women's side. AJ Lee won, beat Becky Lynch, made her tap out. And so now you're going to set up on Friday an interesting match between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes, a lot of people think is going to win and then face Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Of course, all of this available, the premium live events with the ESPN Unlimited partnership. And there's a lot of internet buzz. And we asked Cody about this, whether or not he could turn heel. There were little moments where Cody was kind of alluding to the idea of turning heel. So you have all of that, and obviously that was fun over the weekend to watch. And then we get to Sunday, where a bunch of NBA games here on ESPN and ABC, including the Knicks and the Spurs. And the New York Knicks, heck of a win. They beat the San Antonio Spurs and snapped their 11-game winning streak. They win 114-89. The Knicks, 39-22. Wemby with 25 points. Mikal Bridges was great in this game with 25. I thought Mohamed Diawara was ironically the key for the Knicks.
Gave him great minutes off the bench. He was awesome.
Who nobody's ever heard of, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. I mean to actually point out the difference. What was the biggest storyline with the Knicks last year? It was firing Tom Thibodeau, hiring Mike Brown. What was one of the reasons? Well, he doesn't use his bench. Well, in some ways, using your bench in the NBA is dusting off a guy that no one's ever heard of to give you minutes to help you win a game like that with against San Antonio. But the Knicks right now, one of probably 4 or 5 teams in the East that think they can get to the finals, and a game like that gives you hope if you're a Knicks fan.
Yeah, it does. And here's the thing. The Knicks know that they can have these types of heights. And let's not forget, they actually beat the San Antonio Spurs in the in-season tournament in the finals in order to hang the banner. But I guess when it comes to this team and whether or not they can be trusted when it matters the most in the postseason, the inconsistency is what gives me cause to pause, and it's mainly what they are on the defensive end of the court. I don't worry about the New York Knicks being able to get buckets. They got plenty of guys that can do that, and Jalen Brunson is always going to find a way to set up the offense. He's going to find his shot. He's going to be able to facilitate the greatness of others on the offensive end. Can this Knicks team consistently get stops? And yesterday they proved that they could. And I was impressed with how they were able to throw Wemby off his game on the offensive end of the court. Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns, that tandem, those two bigs, being able to take turns throwing them at Wemby, it seemed to throw him off just enough where Wemby couldn't be that force multiplier for the rest of the guys on his team. And so I came away from that game looking at the Knicks as a team that has zero excuse as to why they can't make a run to the NBA Finals. The only thing that would get in their way is not the talent level, but it's the mentality. And if they can get over that hump, if they can break through in that regard, then all of a sudden we could be talking about this team being able to make a run and compete for a championship.
When you say mentality, do you mean tenacity? Do you mean having a short memory? What do you mean when you say mentality is going to get in the way for them?
Intensity, physicality, grit. The Knicks don't bring that every single game. They just don't.
And not against certain teams either. No. We saw it with Detroit, that's lacking, but then we see it with San Antonio. It's inconsistent
for them. They held the Spurs to a season low when it comes to points like this. Right. That's a damn good outing for the New York Knicks. Defensively is where it started for them, right? I mean, after they got going, they shut the faucet off in the first quarter. They didn't trail after that. So, I mean, this was a dominant performance by the New York Knicks, and they have that in them, right? I mean, you see the depth that they have, the versatility that they have with some of the pieces, especially on the defensive end of the court. It's just a matter of them putting it together. Mikal Bridges is an outstanding defender. OG Anunoby, outstanding defender. Josh Hart has got a ton of grit. Alvarado off the bench, outstanding defender. They've got guys that can play defense. Mitchell Robinson, a really good big when it comes to defending and being a rim protector. They've got the requisite pieces. Right. It's just a matter of whether or not they can put it together consistently. And can you trust them once we get to the tournament in the games where it matters the most? Because all of the playoff games are going to be tight. And we saw that in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. The games got tight, the Knicks got tight.
Sure.
And the Indiana Pacers with Tyrese Halliburton didn't. That was the difference. Can we trust the Knicks to get past that? Can we trust them to have more mental toughness than they have displayed in postseasons past with this core of players? That's the only thing that's missing. But as far as what they did yesterday, damn impressive. We already knew that they could beat the Spurs, but doing it again just proves it wasn't a fluke. Now we know talent ain't the issue with the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of mindset. And a big reason why the organization decided to pivot off of Tibbs and go toward Mike Brown was because they felt like they needed something different. They felt like from an intangible standpoint, they needed to tweak something. Well, yesterday, you looked at the results and you said, that's more of what we want. That's more of what we're expecting. Now we need to see you do it in the playoffs.
That's why I wanted you to expand on that. As a champion yourself, you know what it takes. But when I'm watching this game yesterday with the Knicks and the Spurs, I'm like, okay, that's a data point that's going to give them confidence because they have been inconsistent. And I thought about the fact that as we're getting closer to the playoffs and the landscape of the NBA is taking shape in a significant way, the pressure on the Knicks is going to go through the roof. You fired Tibbs after having the most success than you've had in a quarter century because you need to get to and win an NBA Finals. And as we get closer to the playoffs, that is only going to intensify for the Knicks. You keep saying, Evan, does it even matter what they do in the regular season?
No.
This is a postseason team.
Yeah.
But we're getting closer to that. And because they've been inconsistent against some teams, Detroit, et cetera, when you play the hottest team in the NBA, a team that we are looking at and saying, maybe they are a year ahead of schedule, but when you watch the Spurs play, they look like a team that can compete for and win a championship, no question. And if you're the Knicks and you have a dominant win like that against a team coming in that had an 11-game winning streak, that gives you confidence moving forward, which I think is very vital for this team.
I have a small critique of the Spurs very quickly. I want to watch a game and feel like they're forcing the ball to Wemby. And I don't watch the game and feel like they're forced. He's that good. He's that unstoppable. He's that dominant. I want to feel a couple of possessions like, he's not that open, but they're throwing him the ball. Like he is at that level for me where, and it's not like you don't have a room to throw him the ball. Just throw it high up. He'll get it. I just want to feel like every time you can get him the ball, you get him the ball. And I don't necessarily feel like that, which means they're playing the right way. But at some point, this separation between him being the best player in the league and everybody else on that team being really good needs to happen. I'm not saying he's the best player in the league. I'm saying he's going to be at some point soon.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's in my opinion, the top 3 MVP candidate this year. But here's the thing. Yesterday, Wemby was bad. The turnovers, inexcusable, man. Like, you can't make certain mistakes. Like, you get a defensive rebound, and then you try to force the outlet pass. It ends up being a turnover, and then the Knicks end up scoring off of, an offensive rebound and that following the possession. Those types of things can't happen. Like, Wemby's got to be cleaner in terms of the basketball that he plays when teams decide that they're going to get physical with him. And that's the one thing that's missing from him. He's not a very... He's a tall guy, but he's slight of frame, so right. That's one of the things that he has to adjust to, and maybe this is a part of the maturation for him, the growing pains that he's got to go through. But yesterday, Wemby was not good, and as a result, his team struggled. But I don't want to discredit the New York Knicks because I think that they forced him into making those mistakes. Coming up,
the Sports Indefensible now has a Hall of Famer defending it. We will explain what that is after I tell you this about ZipRecruiter. It's tournament time in college basketball where teams battle through surprises and upsets.